Hey everyone, before we dive into the incredible life of Tanya Tucker, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our future deep dives into the lives of country music legends. Now, let's get into one of the most inspiring and rebellious stories in country music history. Tanya Tucker's rise from a child prodigy to one of the most influential and legendary figures in the genre. From a young girl to a towering figure in country music, Tanya Tucker's story has captivated millions. After 14 Grammy nominations and decades of breaking barriers, the country legend finally received the recognition she deserved. But her journey to that moment wasn't just a walk down a glamorous red carpet. It was filled with struggles, triumphs, and a transformation that will leave you in awe. At 65, Tanya Tucker is not just surviving, she's thriving. And wait until you see her transformation, it's nothing short of shocking. Tanya Tucker was not your typical country singer. From the very beginning, she was a force of nature. A prodigy at just 13, she hit the scene with a voice that shocked even the most seasoned professionals. But she wasn't just about talent. Tanya was a rebel, a country girl with a fire inside her that no one could tame. From highs that made her a star to lows that nearly broke her, Tanya's story has always been about defying the odds. Her journey begins in a small town in Texas, Seattle, to be exact, where she was born on the 10th of October, 1958. Tanya's roots were planted early in music, as her father, Bo Tucker, was a firm believer in her potential. Music was the heartbeat of their household, and classic country sounds like Patsy Cline, Hank Williams, and Elvis Presley filled their home, shaping Tanya's early dream. But it wasn't just about listening to these legends. Tanya had the talent to stand alongside them. Bo Tucker, however, wasn't just a father, he was her biggest advocate. He believed in Tanya's raw, powerful voice in a way that most people couldn't see. He encouraged her to sing, to perform, and to pursue her dreams. They moved across states, from Texas to Nevada and Arizona, all to ensure Tanya's potential was nurtured. But while most children her age were focused on school and friends, Tanya's focus was solely on music, and she was already on her way to becoming something extraordinary. By the time she was 8 years old, Tanya wasn't just dreaming, she was already performing with an unmatched maturity for her age. Her voice was deep, husky, and carried an emotional weight that resonated far beyond her years. Even as a child, Tanya had a rare understanding of the art of storytelling through song. It was no surprise when she got the attention of Nashville's top producers. While living in Nevada, Tanya's father took a risk. He recorded a demo of his daughter singing and sent it to Nashville. Most people wouldn't give a second glance to a 13-year-old girl trying to make it big. But one man did. Billy Sherrill, one of the most influential producers in country music, heard Tanya's demo and was floored. Sherrill had worked with legends like Tammy Wynette and George Jones, but when he heard Tanya, he knew he had found something special. He invited her to Nashville and handed her a song that had been floating around Delta Dawn. The song was about a heartbroken woman wandering through town, lost in the memories of a past love. It was a bold choice for a 13-year-old, but when Tanya sang it, she brought something raw to it, something that made it sound like she had lived the story herself. Her voice was mature, filled with depth, and the song took off like wildfire. Delta Dawn skyrocketed up the charts, peaking at number 6 on Billboard's Hot Country Songs. But more than just a hit, it marked the arrival of a new kind of country star. Tanya was no longer just another teen with a nice voice, she was a phenomenon. At just 13 years old, she stunned audiences and made people ask, how could a girl so young sound so seasoned? It was clear, Tanya Tucker was going to change country music. But with success came pressure, the kind of pressure that no one, especially not a 13-year-old, should have to face. The demands of the industry were relentless. Record labels wanted more hits, producers pushed her to record nonstop, and fans and critics alike expected Tanya to live up to her newfound fame. The whirlwind of promotional appearances, tours, and live performances took its toll on her. At times, Tanya would go from a school desk to a national television appearance within days. And with every performance, she was expected to deliver perfection. Despite her age, Tanya rose to the challenge. But fame can be a double-edged sword, and as she grew older, the industry that had once adored her began to take a toll. Tanya was never going to be a cookie-cutter country star. She wasn't interested in being boxed in by anyone's expectations. By the time she hit her late teens, Tanya was ready to break free from the mold. The 1980s saw Tanya at her peak musically and personally, but it was also the decade that would see her personal life overshadowing her career. Among the biggest headlines was her high-profile and passionate relationship with country music legend Glen Campbell. This romance wasn't just about love, it was about chaos, passion, and a storm of emotions neither of them could control. The media couldn't get enough of Tanya and Glenn. Their relationship was full of highs and lows, making the tabloids almost as much as their music. From wild parties to public fights, the world watched as they lived out a love story that was both intoxicating and destructive. Tanya would later admit that she tried to help Glenn with his addiction struggles, but in doing so, she found herself spiraling into the same patterns of substance abuse. The drugs and alcohol became an escape from the pressures of the spotlight. It wasn't just a personal battle it played out in front of the world. Her music started to reflect this shift. Performances became erratic, and the hits slowed down. The once unstoppable Tanya Tucker was now facing an uncertain future. The music world was changing, and with stars like Reba McEntire and George Strait rising to prominence, Tanya was beginning to fade from the limelight. But Tanya wasn't one to let go easily. The 1990s marked a turning point. After years of battling addiction, Tanya stepped away from the spotlight. This was her chance to reclaim her life and her career. She focused on getting sober, on rebuilding herself as an artist. And while it was no easy road, it was one that would lead to one of the most powerful comebacks in country music history. In 1993, Tanya released her album Tanya, a triumphant return to form. It wasn't just a commercial comeback, it was a statement. The standout hit, Two Sparrows and a Hurricane, became an anthem for anyone who had ever faced adversity and come out stronger on the other side. The song resonated deeply with fans, proving that Tanya Tucker was far from finished. But as the 1990s progressed, Tanya's struggle with finances continued. Despite her success, Tanya's extravagant lifestyle had led to financial difficulties. Lawsuits, legal battles, and mismanagement from her past left her facing bankruptcy. The lavish world she once lived in seemed like a distant memory, overshadowed by mounting debt. But Tanya was never one to back down. The same grit that had made her a star at 13 fueled her determination to fight back. She rebuilt her finances, rebuilt her career, and most importantly, rebuilt herself. She wasn't just about surviving, Tanya was about thriving. By the 2000s, Tanya had transitioned from being a star on the rise to a country music icon. She had earned her place in the history books. Yet, in 2019, she made an unexpected comeback that would redefine her legacy. A new generation of artists, including Brandi Carlile, had grown up idolizing Tanya. They saw her influence and decided it was time for Tanya's music to return to the forefront. The result was While I'm Livin, an album that stripped away the gloss and gave Tanya a platform to showcase her most raw, emotional, and honest self. It wasn't about flashy production, it was about authenticity. It was about Tanya's voice, the same voice that had captured hearts since Delta Dawn. Critics hailed the album as one of the most poignant releases of her career. Fans were thrilled to see the unapologetic Tanya they had always loved return. And for Tanya, it was more than just a critical success, it was her moment of validation. After 14 Grammy nominations, Tanya Tucker finally won a Grammy in 2020. While I'm Livin took home the award for Best Country Album, and her song Bring My Flowers Now won Best Country Song. Standing on that stage, holding her long overdue trophy, Tanya had a powerful realization. I was 14 when I got my first nomination, and now, 14 nominations later, I finally got one. It was a full-circle moment that validated her entire career. Beyond the awards, Tanya's impact on the country music industry is undeniable. She opened doors for future generations of female artists like Miranda Lambert, Casey Musgraves, and Ashley McBryde have cited Tanya as a major influence. Tanya's defiance, her willingness to speak her truth, and her refusal to follow the rules paved the way for other women to push boundaries in country music. As Tanya's career evolved, so did her legacy. She wasn't just a survivor, she was a trailblazer, a symbol of resilience, and proof that authenticity will always win in the end. Tanya Tucker's journey has been one of transformation, of defying expectations, and proving that real stars never fade. Tanya didn't just survive, she conquered. Her story isn't just one of fame, it's one of fighting back, of finding strength in the face of adversity, and of embracing who you are, flaws and all. Tanya Tucker's transformation wasn't just shocking, it was inspiring. If you're inspired by Tanya's resilience and the lessons she's taught us, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories about incredible transformations. You won't want to miss what we have next.